Hi, welcome to Kingdom of J with me, Janine. Today's vlog is all about allergies. I'm going to focus on peanut and anaphylaxis and the relationship because that's actually what I have. Okay, if you can hear my cat meowing in the background, he's absolutely fine. He just is a bit needy. So the anaphylaxis, by definition, is a severe and potentially life-threatening allergic reaction characteristically affecting more than one body system, such as the airways, heart, circulation, gut and skin. Symptoms can start within seconds or minutes of exposure to the food or substance you are allergic to and will usually progress rapidly. On occasions, these symptoms may be delayed for a few hours. As I've mentioned before, my allergic anaphylaxis is to peanuts, and I found this out when I was at uni because I am asthmatic anyway, and we started to go to a Chinese restaurant which was a buffet, and I'd have like one or two bites, and it usually was like sesame prawn toast, I think, that started, and you'd have like one bite and I'd start to feel like I had really bad indigestion and I couldn't drink any water. I would have an asthma attack, and it just got worse from there. Like my lips would start swelling, and over time essentially you just get a worse and worse and quicker reaction to whatever it is that you are allergic to. I would say how it differs from other allergies is the fact that it is so severe, like it is life-threatening. So even though it does sound sometimes, I get quite embarrassed by it, and I feel as if I can't say to people, oh, can you not eat that? Or it is one of those things that you kind of have to. So everyone does always ask me actually on a plane, you know, you get that bing bong. We have a severe nut allergy, passenger, so we are not serving nuts today. That is me. And when I'm on flights with my friends, they do essentially, sorry, I don't know why I'm itching, I think it's just some. When we are on planes, they usually kind of point to me and be like, here, it's her. But you can die. What it is when you are anaphylactically, I don't even know if that's a word, allergic to something, you can be airborne to it. So you might not be eating it, but say for instance with peanuts, you get like dry roasted and stuff, so it's like the molecules around the nut, they go up into the air conditioning, go around the plane, and because you can't get away from it, over a period of time you then start to become poorly and you can have an anaphylactic reaction to it. So yes, it might sound silly, and there are all different reactions. It's not just peanuts. You know, people are anaphylactic to egg, shellfish. My dad has an anaphylactic reaction to bee stings. So it is anything. It's just for some reason, I think when it comes to food, people just don't really understand the severity of it. I didn't, to be honest. Before I had it, I didn't really have any idea. I would say that when I eat out, I get quite bad anxiety, and I like to see the menu and see what's on the menu and how they deal with things, because even though I am anaphylactic and I've had lots of reactions, I've never actually eaten a peanut or anything like that. It's all right. Sorry, that is Boots. Mine's always been from cross-contamination, so I was in a restaurant once and had a prawn cocktail in a kitchen, in a busy kitchen. I can understand that, you know, something has touched something else, and that has made me ended my night basically. I have to either go, if it's a small reaction for me personally, I try and manage it through antihistamine, or sometimes, as bad as it is, you have to wait for it to pass. But other times, you know, as soon as you have an anaphylactic reaction, for me, my lips swell, insides of my mouth all swell, my tongue starts to smell, you start to lose consciousness, and you have to take your EpiPen, which I will show you in a second. And this contains adrenaline, which essentially stops the white blood cells, because, oh, I should tell you the science behind it. Essentially what an anaphylactic reaction is your in your body, when it doesn't like something and it's trying to heal itself or something like that, it's trying to protect it, you know, you swell, let's say you've sprained an ankle or something, your white blood cells come out and they try and fight it. But essentially an anaphylactic reaction is they are released on, scientific behind it anyway, they are released in their millions as such, and they are trying to fight something that is not there, that they feel is putting you under threat, even though it's not. And that's essentially what an anaphylactic reaction is, and that's why it's so severe, because it just makes your body protect itself to the point where it kills it in a weird way. So yes, I have quite a lot of anxiety going out. I go to places, and I said I get quite embarrassed by it, because, you know, you can write on your form or something, or some places when you go for afternoon tea and that, they might not actually want to serve you, or they might say, you know, we can't guarantee it's nut free, you know, do you want to check everything, this, that and the other. And, you know, I'm allergic to all nuts, but I'm only anaphylactic to peanuts, so I try and make it as less worrying on myself, I guess, because if not, I'd never leave the house. You know, if you go to a friend's barbecue, you know, everyone except me loves to put a bowl of nuts out there, but then for someone like me, it creates anxiety, because with a buffet especially, someone might eat nuts out of the bowl, and then they might take that piece of chicken, or oh yeah, I want a couple of, I don't know, for options, you know, that roll or a piece of bread or anything like that, but they've transferred those nut molecules onto a piece of bread, and if I then take that and eat it, I will have a reaction. So that's why I find it quite difficult if you're in a pub and they serve lots of nuts. I'm fine for about an hour to hour and a half, but if they are selling nuts and people are eating nuts around me, I then start to get ill. Basically, it feels as if my nose blocks up. It's like you're coming down with a really heavy cold. That is how I feel. Once I leave the venue, lots of fresh air, and basically my body just calms down. I'm fine in those environments. But sometimes, again, if someone's eating nuts and they're on their mobile phone and then they want you to take a photo, and then you take a photo, you then can't touch anything, because if you then want to eat, I don't know, crisps or something, I'm a big crispy, and then you eat that, you can then have a reaction because you've done a good deed for someone else, essentially. And it's all those elements that, for someone with an allergy, especially a severe allergy, that comes into play. It's all the what ifs and have theys, and, you know, if you're going around someone's house, you don't want to say, like, oh no, you can't serve any peanuts. And one way that you can help someone that has an allergy like that is, I mean, obviously, don't have it is a nice way of doing it, but that's not, you might not even know that person's got an allergy. And, you know, you can't really expect everyone's life to change around just because you've got an allergy. But what you can do, which is quite nice sometimes, is if you let that person go up to the buffet first, they can take all their food knowing it's not contaminated, and then everyone else can pile in and have their food, and they haven't got to worry about it. That's quite a nice way of doing it, and that's what I usually do at my sister's or someone. I'll just eat it all first, and you get the best helpings of everything. Not that's a reason, but essentially. One other thing someone asked me, can you kiss someone with an allergy and have a reaction? Well, yes, you can. My fiance, he unfortunately has to give up like Snickers and anything like that, because if he has one of those and then kisses me, even if he cleaned his teeth and mouthwashed, I would still have it. My lips would be like, it's like I'd have that trout pout that is quite popular, quite frankly. And yeah, it's not nice. It's really, really uncomfortable. And quite frankly, I'd just rather he didn't. Any other nuts is not too bad, because as I say, I'm not only anaphylactic to peanuts. But yeah, nuts are kind of out in our household. We don't really have them in. Pretty much for that. I did put on my Facebook, a lot of these answers and this information I'm giving to you is because I put on my Facebook for people to ask me questions of what things they would want to know about an anaphylactic reaction. So I'm kind of going from what I've been asked to give you this kind of information. I don't know if it's helpful. Please let me know down below. If it's not helpful at all, apologies for watching this. One said, why would you have an anaphylactic reaction if you've never had it before? Well, sometimes it can be, as I said, mine started with a very small reaction, so you don't know that you're anaphylactic until you have it. Other times there is something called, it's a different type of anaphylactic, and that is the definition, it's unknown, or it's a sudden reaction. I said I only got my reaction when I was in my early 20s. But as I said, I've never eaten a peanut, so that could be one of the reasons why I'm allergic to it now. Or it could, and also there's a lot of coalition with asthma sufferers and nut allergies, so that could also be it. But I don't know. All I know is I've had the tests, and that is my body hates it, does not want it in me at all. And I generally, that's one of literally things when I have a reaction is I am sick. They always say you're probably not going to be sick. I am sick every single time. So in the ambulance, first thing I say to them is, you've got them in your bag, I am going to throw up at some point. Charming. What should you do if you are with someone who's having an anaphylactic reaction? Right, best thing to keep calm. The more you panic or they panic, the quicker reaction happens. Easier said than done. Secondly, they should be carrying, if they are anaphylactic, an EpiPen on them, or at least, if they know about their reactions, or at least antihistamine or anything like that. You need to call 999. After you've given them their first injection, they have to have that injection, if they're carrying one. If not, 999, and try and find some kind of antihistamine that is locally available to you. Also, lying flat sometimes helps because it will slow the reaction down. Usually the cycles can come in 3. Most anaphylactic sufferers will carry 2 EpiPens with them. These contain adrenaline, which will fight technically your antibodies, the white blood cells. And you will stab one, it'll go through jeans, it'll go through anything, stab it in the thigh, just get it in there. And mine is personally, I have about a 5-minute window. I have to have my injection, and then after about 15 minutes you can have another one. You can go back into anaphylaxis, so that's when you would take the second one, and then by the 3rd time the ambulance should be there. If not, there's not a lot you can do, and that is, as harsh as it sounds, that is the difference between an allergy and an anaphylaxis allergy. It's the fact that it can cause death. Symptoms to look out for is some people, mild symptoms, they break out in hives, they have itchy eyes might start swelling, shortness of breath. It can affect your gut. I don't know, I've personally not had that unless it's been a mild reaction, and as it's going through me, it doesn't like it. But I don't know on a quick reaction how that would be. Personally, mine is all internally. I don't get a rash or anything, I just get, my lips go, inside my mouth goes, my tongue goes, I close up. That's essentially my reaction, but everyone is different. Actually, I did see some videos on YouTube which show people who are allergic to peanuts, eating peanuts, and you see their face. I'll see if I can find the link for it and add it below, because I actually was quite amazed that they were still eating it. And obviously it's not an anaphylactic reaction, but what I'm saying is that are the kind of reactions people go through for food allergies. I would say, is there anything else I can say on this matter? You know what? I think I'm going to leave it there today. You've got like literally nearly 15 minutes of me talking about allergies at you. But if you do have any other questions, if you can comment them below, I might be able to do an updated version of this at a later date that just gives you a bit more info around what you need. But I hope I've covered some of the main points that you might not know or do know, and it just clarifies things. As I say, this is all from my personal experience of having anaphylaxis. Everyone is different. Okay, thank you for listening everyone, and speak to you later. Bye!